Ryan Reynolds is now trying to bully the court to try to put financial pressure on Justin Baldoni. You were the ones who started the lawsuit.
Blake Lively's own legal team just flipped the script and exposed both her and Ryan Reynolds. After a massive legal scandal they were desperately trying to bury.
Miss Lively and Mr. Reynolds are now seeking sanctions on the purported ground that certain allegations in their complaint are frivolous.
Apparently, client privilege means nothing when your clients are throwing you under the bus to save their shiny PR image. And honestly, if you treat your lawyer like a disposable napkin, don't be shocked when he turns into the courtroom's sharpest blade.
In fact, it is Mr. Reynolds and Miss Lively's sanctions motion that are frivolous.
Because Mike Gottlieb is not here to play nice, and definitely not here to be anyone's legal puppet.
Because you guys are trying to force down a narrative, and we are refusing to accept it.
And this time, the problem was that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's camp tried to drag him into their mess, asking him to file a sanction against Justin Baldoni. Mike didn't just say no, he exposed the whole circus.
So you don't get to just throw your power around and keep demanding that it's frivolous and to go away and blah, blah, blah. You are so out of touch, it's wild.
According to insiders close to the filings, Ryan's team basically wanted their lawyer to ask the court to punish Baldoni for continuing the lawsuit, not because it lacked evidence, but because it was inconvenient. That's what a sanction is. Legal speak for make him pay and shut up. And here's where it gets shady. If Mike had actually followed through with that request, he could have ended up breaking serious legal ethics. We're talking potential disbarment, or worse, jail time. And Mike made that very clear. He told them straight, this isn't how the law works.
You guys started this lawsuit. Let's not forget, you were the ones who started the lawsuit, and Justin's proven fairly that a lot of what your wife is saying didn't seem to happen.
Obviously, you can't just weaponize the court to scare someone into silence, because your image is on fire. You can't invent your own rules just because you're Ryan Reynolds and your wife is Blake Lively. That might work on Instagram, but not in a federal courtroom.
Now, again, demanding sanctions over the frivolous suit, which is a frivolous request.
And this is why Mike Gottlieb's name is now echoing through this entire scandal. Because instead of covering for Blake and Ryan, he blew the lid off what they were trying to pull. He told them, if you want someone who will commit legal suicide to protect your reputation, find another fool. He wasn't going to be that guy.
He's drowning the court yet again with more high-profile demands to go away. Ryan Reynolds has had enough of these utterly frivolous. I mean, I feel like I've read this story 4 times already.
And let's talk about what exactly they wanted. Ryan's team wanted to file for monetary sanctions against Baldoni, basically asking the court to slap him with huge financial penalties for wasting the court's time.
Justin's defending himself, so it's different for me. You're constantly out there trying to say, no, we're victims! Believe us, we're victims!
Here's the kicker. We're still in the discovery phase. That means the court hasn't even reviewed all the evidence yet. This is the phase where both parties gather information, testimonies, and proof. And Ryan's team wanted to skip all of that. No discovery, no facts, just silence. That's not a legal argument, that's a tantrum. And Mike Gottlieb saw that from a mile away.
The Wayfarer party's complaint contains substantial factual allegations supported by a mountain of evidence. We anticipate that the court will agree, and they will.
What Ryan was trying to do, in simple words, was financially crush Baldoni before he even got the chance to defend himself properly. It's the classic rich guy move. Drain your opponent until they can't afford to keep going. But Mike called it what it is. A manipulative power play disguised as a legal strategy.
Now you gotta understand, Ryan Reynolds has a very lucrative deal through Fox, through everything that he's in bed with them. They can't afford to cut him loose, but they can have a talk and tell him, Ryan, this is not good.
And here's what makes it worse. If Mike had actually submitted that sanctions request, knowing it was legally baseless, he could be charged with abuse of process or even obstruction. That's how serious this is. And the problem here is that Ryan Reynolds is not just fighting a lawsuit, he's fighting for the last big contract of his career.
Ryan seems to be so stubborn and aggressively trying to prove the proof is out there, and I don't know what this man is thinking.
Behind all the legal drama, behind all the PR chaos, there's a brutal reality. Ryan has only one major deal left with Disney through the Fox merger. And if he messes this up, it's game over. No more multi-million-dollar Marvel checks. No more Deadpool. No more brand empire. Just a man with a messy public, image, and a reputation Disney would rather pretend never existed.
Bob Iger himself and Disney have been trying to get Ryan Reynolds to drop this nonsense. Just like Taylor Swift, just like everybody else involved, nobody wants to be involved in this.
Here's the twist. Disney can't get rid of him. Not directly. At least not yet. His contract is locked in. Signed years ago under the Fox umbrella before the scandal exploded.
A lot of folks are over this It Ends With Us lawsuit, and they want it to stop. And one of those people I hear now from multiple sources is Bob Iger himself, the CEO of Disney.
Contracts with companies like Disney always come with an escape hatch. A sneaky little clause called the Morals Clause. What does that mean in plain terms? It means if Ryan does anything that tarnishes Disney's image, like getting dragged into a legal mess involving alleged blackmail, retaliation, and fake narratives, they can cut him loose no matter how much money is on the table. And guess, who's watching him closely right now? Bob Iger himself. Yes, the CEO.
Nobody wants to be involved in this. And now they've put on a brave face. They have made it clear they're not going to play nice pool with Justin over these Deadpool requests of getting information from the film.
Multiple insiders say Bob is straight up furious with Ryan's behavior. Not disappointed, not annoyed, furious. Because this entire lawsuit is now bleeding into Disney's world.
But it's Justin's right. This is all absolutely valid. This is not frivolous. He is demanding that they hold on to these documents so that he can do his discovery to figure it out.
Tainting the hype for Deadpool 3, complicating marketing strategies, and giving the press more courtroom headlines than box office ones. For a company that lives on squeaky clean billion-dollar brands, this is poison.
That's what the case is for, Ryan. And so you don't get to just throw your power around and keep demanding that it's frivolous and to go away. And you are so out of touch. It's wild.
So what does back off or burn really mean here? It means Bob Iger has personally sent the message to Ryan. Step out of the spotlight, drop the drama, stay in line, or we'll make sure this is your last Marvel appearance ever.
And meanwhile, Justin's out there feeling the financial weight. Now, to be fair, I'll call this out for what I see it is. To me, I believe this. I'm not trying to deny that he's not suffering, because he is. He is, make it clear. But this also conveniently is showing damages.
They can't yank the rug just yet without causing legal problems. But they can isolate him, sideline him, and make sure no new contracts ever come again. Think of it like a quiet cancellation. You still technically have a seat at the table, but no one's inviting you to dinner.
Let's keep it a buck. The exclusive people source, they're smartly putting stuff out there to remind everybody Justin's not out there at premieres and launching stuff. He's still suffering, and he is.
And still, Ryan keeps charging forward. Why? Because if he lets go now, if he admits any wrongdoing, or even backs down just a little, he loses control of the narrative. And Ryan Reynolds is not just an actor. He's a brand, a walking billboard for sarcasm, charm, and A-list perfection. In his mind, the moment he shows weakness, the media pounces, Disney panics, and he becomes disposable.
And honestly, good on them. Valid. It's valid. They are trying to keep him in there, keep the story going, but remind everybody of the stress that he's going through, which is real. And honestly, as you even say, but he's a positive guy. And I do think he'll be okay at the end of this. I really do.
That's why he's not just defending himself. He's trying to erase himself from the mess altogether. His whole strategy is to shift the spotlight, make Justin Baldoni look like the aggressor, like the one pushing baseless lawsuits, while Ryan plays the role of the misunderstood millionaire, just trying to protect his family.
So Brian Freeman did respond. In the latest assault on Mr. Baldoni and other Wayfarer parties, Miss Lively and Mr. Reynolds are now seeking sanctions on the purported ground that certain allegations in their complaint are frivolous.
It's not about winning in court. It's about protecting the Reynolds brand. If he can convince the public and the press that he's the real victim, maybe Disney will back off. Maybe they won't activate that clause. Maybe he'll survive this storm with Deadpool intact.
But anyway, now he's trying to ask the judge to ding Justin's team financially.
Brian Freeman. Oh, he wasn't having it. He saw right through the act. This wasn't just a legal misunderstanding. This was, as Freeman put it, a calculated, coordinated legal assault.
As the Deadpool star on Tuesday hit back against JB and his team with a request for monetary sanctions, which they say is a reaction to the preposterous defamation lawsuit that makes a mockery of the legal system.
And Ryan's push for sanctions. That wasn't justice. It was revenge. It was Ryan trying to choke Baldoni out financially, stop Discovery before it started, and bury this lawsuit under red tape and celebrity influence. But Freeman called it out loudly, publicly, and that wrecked the whole plan.
And meanwhile, she's out there launching new hair care lines and calling everything frivolous. I don't see him out there you are a mockery, Blake. This whole thing was a mockery. Your whole inability to accept some bad press shows how thin-skinned you were back in August.
Now, instead of quietly suffocating the case, Ryan just made it louder. The courts are watching. Disney is watching. The public is watching. And every time Ryan makes another desperate move, it doesn't look like confidence. It looks like panic. And guess what? It is panic. Because Ryan's not just afraid of losing a case. He's afraid of losing everything.
The idea that they put out Kirsty's interview, give me a break!
You think Blake Lively is worried about a failed PR campaign. Ryan is worried about getting dropped from Marvel. He's worried about his billion-dollar image cracking like cheap glass. And now that even his boss is telling him to shut it down, and he still won't, you have to ask, what is he so afraid will come out?
Ryan Reynolds is now trying to bully the court to try to put financial pressure on Justin Baldoni to drop what he's calling the frivolous lawsuit.
Because let's be clear, Ryan's power in Hollywood only works as long as people believe in the image. The charming husband, the funny guy, the bankable star. If that image collapses under scandal, he doesn't just lose fans. He loses contracts, studios, endorsements, and Disney doesn't play with damage control. They cut it out like a tumor, and here's where the panic starts to stink.
But now Blake Lively's team wants to know what this company found out.
Because when you label a lawsuit as frivolous before discovery, before anyone even gets to see the evidence, you're not defending yourself. You're trying to shut down the courtroom. That's not a legal strategy. That's called preemptive sabotage.
And Blake Lively did not want to participate in this investigation. She also turned down any investigation that the CRD complaint, after she filed that, they offered to investigate for her, and she declined that.
Let's break it down. In the legal world, discovery is the part where both sides collect evidence, depose witnesses, review documents, basically the part where the truth is supposed to come out. And what is Ryan's team demanding? That Justin Baldoni never even be allowed to reach that point. No documents, no depositions, no facts. Just shut it all down and pretend it never happened. That's not a defense. That's a cover-up.
So she doesn't want to take part in any of the investigation to find out if she actually has been a victim of SH. But now Blake Lively's team wants to know what this company found out.
And here's the legal stunner. Rule 11 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. This rule states that when someone files a motion, especially something like a motion for sanctions or a motion to dismiss, it must be grounded in fact and law, not personal annoyance or PR spin. If it's filed recklessly or just to harass the other party, the filer and their attorney can be sanctioned themselves. Yep, Ryan and his team could be digging their own grave if the court finds that this motion was just a power move with no factual basis. Interview, annoy, because that's exactly what this looks like. A PR stunt dressed in a three-piece legal suit. Ryan's using the courtroom like it's a press conference podium. He's trying to frame Baldoni as someone wasting the court's time, when really he's just trying to make sure no one sees the inside of this case. And if you've got nothing to hide, why fight so hard to keep everything hidden?